Coming up next on ESPN Classic Sports, a battle for ACC supremacy as Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins, Brad Daugherty, and Kenny Smith lead the #1 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels into hostile Cole Fieldhouse to battle Lefty Driesell, Len Bias, and the #5 ranked Maryland Terrapins. Coming up next, we'll go back to school with Air Jordan.
Number 23, 6'5" freshman from Wilmington, Mike Jordan.
This is Cole Fieldhouse, overflowing with fans to watch what could be the game of the year with #1 North Carolina against 5th-ranked Maryland. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick and Jeff Mullins. And Jeff, over the years, these teams have produced some great moments.
Yes, they have, and I think of the great names of individual players. Bobby Jones, Phil Ford, Walter Davis for UNC, Tom McMillan, Buck Williams for Maryland. This should be a great game. I can't think of a better script.
There's a look at the lineups. Powerful rebounding teams, strong and big backcourts. It could be the best game of the year. The tip, controlled by North Carolina. This is Matt Daugherty. Kenny Smith, the freshman point guard. Brad Daugherty. Loose basketball brought down by Herman Veal of Maryland, stolen by Michael Jordan.
That's a key matchup to look for today. Herman Veal, Michael Jordan, man-to-man, tough, two tough players.
And there's a pass from Kenny Smith, a bounce pass that goes awry. We're working with a 45-second shot clock. Both teams 1-0 in the ACC, and here's that pressure defense, Jeff.
North Carolina will play a pressure man-to-man defense and do a lot of trapping. Maryland coaches are very concerned. They think that's one of the keys of the game, how well they protect the basketball.
This is Coleman, the big senior center. Adrian Branch with a jump shot, and Adrian Branch has the game's first two.
And the sixth man in the crowd in Cole Fieldhouse has come alive. Very important for Maryland and Adrian Branch to get off to a good start. He is definitely a streak shooter.
2-0 Terps. Opening minutes of the ballgame. Michael Jordan with Herman Veal, who has done a great job on him in the past. He missed the shot but was fouled. It looked like Branch came over to help out and committed the personal.
Michael Jordan had an isolation one-on-one. Here comes Daugherty to set the pick. Branch left his feet. A good defender should not do that. He was called for the foul.
Jordan, an 81.8% free throw shooter, but Jeff, the story for North Carolina free throw shooting is really their team statistic.
It's an amazing statistic. They're shooting almost 78% as a team. That's phenomenal. And of course, maybe we jinxed Michael Jordan. He missed his first one.
Missed the first one. Jordan really has not been playing like the Michael Jordan that we remembered seeing last year, who was the player of the year in many people's books.
A great basketball player, great talent, and I'm sure every coach that plays against him keeps waiting for Michael Jordan to explode.
The problem is he's trying to live up to his own standard, and that's tough. Long pass ahead to Len Bias, who holds it up. Maryland going with Bias, Veal, and Coleman up front. Branch and Adkins are the guards. This is Adrian Branch. Great one-on-one player. Matt Daugherty, a superb defender, is on him. Herman Veal, make that Lenny Bias, the 6'8 sophomore from Landover. Excellent jumper, and he got those two down. The Terrapins lead 4-1.
Len Bias is quite an athlete himself. 6'7", great leaper, but he also has a fine outside touch.
Kenny Smith, the freshman point guard, low to Perkins, stolen by Bias, or stolen by Branch. This is Jeff Adkins. Can play either guard. Cross-court pass, beautiful pass from Herman Veal to Len Bias, and listen to those fans.
And there we get a good look at his athletic ability. Bias taking one step, going up two hands, and slamming it through.
It is 6-1 Maryland, 18 minutes to go first half. Jordan, soft, pretty shot by Michael Jordan.
When Michael Jordan gets the ball 10 feet from the basket, there's hardly anything a defender can do. Beal did the right thing, stuck his hands up in the air, but he buried it.
Branch guarded by Doherty. Trying to penetrate. Finger roll. Adrian Branch off to a very quick start. And when he plays that way out of the gate, Jeff, he can carry a team.
Well, he is such a streak shooter, and you can tell he's emotionally involved in this game. You very seldom see a driver go all the way to the basket without help in North Carolina's defensive scheme, but that time he did.
Matt Doherty, the alley-oop to Brad Doherty, lost the ball, almost walked, got it back and put it in. The crowd wanted the call and didn't get it. Our officials tonight, Lenny Wirtz, Dick Paparo, and Tom Frame. And it's 8-5, Maryland by 3, beating the North Carolina defensive pressure. Ben Coleman double-teamed, won't go for him, and one of the few rebounds without much action that we've had so far. Jordan dribble it off his foot.
North Carolina looking to push the ball up the floor every time. Kenny Smith made a nice pass. Michael Jordan tried to make a move before he had control.
Adrian Branch almost lost it. Instead, gets it back to Lenny Bias. Branch double team. Carolina famous for it. Ball knocked loose so he can go in backcourt and pick it up without a turnover.
Interesting how North Carolina is matching up. Matt Doherty on Adrian Branch and Michael Jordan guarding Len Bias.
Bias misses the shot. Rebound to Perkins. The foul on Herman Beal, and he knew it.
Coach Dean Smith was worried about North Carolina's ability to rebound against this very physical Maryland team. He said, fundamentally, we'll do it right. And that time you saw Sam Perkins do it right. He screened his man out. He was in the right place to grab the ball.
Jeff, to you, doesn't it seem that Sam Perkins is playing with the same kind of intensity that he did as a sophomore and lost some of last year?
He has had a terrific year so far, both offensively and defensively. And as Dean Smith said, he should. He's a senior this year. He's got more maturity.
Matt Doherty, who's not shoot very often from the perimeter. Jordan around Veal. Got it. Michael Jordan, I have a suspicion we might see his biggest night of the year tonight.
Well, he's had, as we mentioned, he struggled a few games, but he is getting isolated one-on-one on one side of the floor or the other, and he's tough to guard man-to-man.
Next trip down court, let's see if we can see if Maryland is playing that triangle in two. There's Atkins all the way to the baseline. He's an excellent driver, but that time he charged. And Matt Doherty deserves a lot of the credit for the defense.
And that's the kind of helping defense we're used to seeing from North Carolina. Atkins is open. Look, he's got a lane. But look at Doherty get over there and seal it off. Good help. He drew the charge.
North Carolina down by 1. The Tar Heels have the basketball. And Peterson is into the ball game for North Carolina. Buzz with the basketball, and the baseline jumper a little short. Perkins offensive rebound and the jam.
Excellent offensive position. Sam Perkins right in the right spot, and boy, did he go up and grab it with authority and then put it back in.
Maryland could use a bucket here. They made their first 3, but they've missed their last 3. And this is Ben Coleman, the horse in the middle. What control of the basketball. Handled it like a grapefruit and fired it in there.
You talk about authority. He wanted to go to the basket that time, and Maryland knows when they need a bucket, it's a good idea to get it inside to Ben Coleman.
10-9, Maryland by 1. Matt Doherty, and takes that little set shot. Atkins with a long rebound. Atkins has only touched the ball a couple of times tonight. This is Adrian Branch, who already has 4 points. Coleman against Brad Doherty, and a foul as Peterson came in to double team.
Again, Maryland went inside to Coleman. That time he was looking for the pass. Buzz Peterson did a good job defensively helping out, but he was called for the foul.
Peterson, the 6'4" junior out of Asheville, North Carolina. Take a look.
Smart move by Coleman. You can see he's looking now for the open man, and there's Peterson in there trapping. Good defense, good offense, but the foul was called.
Coleman double team back to Atkins, who will bring it back out and set it up again. Branch, trapped by the double team, finds Atkins, who was the open man, short on the shot, but he's fouled, and it's going to be on Michael Jordan. His first second team foul against Carolina.
Maryland is doing an excellent job of moving the basketball. Here we'll see Atkins. He's not really that open. Michael Jordan comes from behind. Looked like he touched him on the back of the head. It's one of those touch-me-not fouls, but it is a foul.
Carolina doing something interesting now. They got Peterson and Kenny Smith in the backcourt, and they've got Jordan playing that forward spot. But he is certainly strong enough to rebound.
Buzz Peterson is a really fine outside shooter, and perhaps in this defense Maryland is playing, Coach Dean Smith wants an outside shooter in there.
Atkins hit both free throws. The junior from Martinsville averaging almost 12 points a ball game, and the Terrapins on top by 3 now, 12-9. And here is Maryland's full court zone. Carolina not having much trouble with it. This is Kenny Smith to Peterson. Missed another baseline shot. The rebound to Len Bias. Maryland has yet to go to its bench. In past years, that was a weakness. This year, they have a lot of strength down there. They can match Carolina all the way up and down that bench. Herman Veal to Atkins. Carolina playing pressure defense. Veal walked.
Good defense that time by Sam Perkins, matching up with the smaller and quicker Veal. Played such good pressure that Veal was forced to travel.
Interesting move that they put Perkins on Veal because you don't expect Veal to score too much, keep Perkins out of foul trouble.
And Veal will pull Perkins away from the basket. But as I said, North Carolina's doing some interesting matchups on defense.
Smith and Peterson to the guards. That's Doherty low. Brad Doherty. Peterson 0 for 3 from the floor. Atkins got a hand on it, but Jordan tipped it out of bounds out to Maryland. Carolina cold at the start, at least in this spread.
Maryland doing a good job of sealing off the inside, which is making Carolina look for the outside shot, and they can't get it to fall in this last stretch.
Here comes an exciting young freshman, Keith Gatlin, 165 pounds, is the player of the year in North Carolina. Went to Conley High School in Grimesland, North Carolina. Wait till you see him pass. He has tremendous vision, a lot like Kenny Smith for Carolina.
He doesn't play like a freshman. He knows how to run the team. Expect to see him a lot tonight.
Coleman. Loose ball, and it's Michael Jordan. Took it away from Veal. Might have noticed that time Gatlin got the ball to Coleman where he needed to. This is Hale into the ball game for North Carolina. Steve, a sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma. So Dean Smith going to the bench early as he has all year and often. Bounce pass to Jordan. Missed the shot, but he's fouled. And they're going to call the foul on Herman Veal. Will be his second.
Excellent inside passing by Doherty. He's right under the basket, had the easy shot, but instead he passed it very unselfishly to his teammate. You can see the contact from Veal. I believe that's 2 fouls on Veal.
Veal was caught in a bind there because his portion of zone, he was left to cover 2 players.
He's such an intense defensive player. He tried to do both, and he did a pretty good job, but he was called for the foul.
Mark Fothergill, number 22, comes in for the University of Maryland. And a substitution for North Carolina, 6'10 freshman Joe Wolf. He's number 24, is into the ball game. And this is Jordan shooting free throws. He's 1 out of 2 so far tonight from the line and missed that one. And this is from an 81.8% free throw shooter. 12-9, Maryland by 3. Jordan now 2 out of 4. And it's 12-10. Branch against the pressure. Peterson and Hale are the North Carolina guards right now, and they run the switch. He gets the ball to Atkins. Atkins free for the shot. Instead, they go low to Herman Veal. Missed the shot, and Jordan skies another rebound. Michael Jordan is really pumped up tonight.
It's classic the way he gets his rebounds. There's Sam Perkins open at the free throw line.
Perkins leans into one, got the roll, and we're tied at 12. 4 points for Sam Perkins.
Michael Jordan, when he gets those rebounds, seems to sail out of nowhere, kind of like Superman flying through the air and picking them off.
Fothergill seldom shoots, but is a good shooter. Missed, but got his own rebound. Had it knocked away, stolen, but out of bounds. Swiped by Hale, but they said he stepped on the baseline after he took it. Now Atkins comes out of the ballgame, and Branch will come back in for Maryland. Matt Doherty will check back in for North Carolina, and Michael Jordan will sit in.
It's interesting, the substitution strategy. Both these coaches know they've got to have fresh players at the end of the game. They're using their bench early to try and keep everybody fresh.
This is Gatlin, the freshman point guard from Maryland. Lenny Bias, swish.
Len Bias, definitely a future star in the ACC. He's got so much talent inside and outside.
He has 8 of Maryland's 14 points. Peterson to Matt Doherty. Wolf, Joe Wolf with his first shot and first field goal. We're tied again at 14.
Nice inside move by Wolf when he got it close to the basket. He's 6'9". He took advantage of his size. He wasn't shy at all.
This is Gatlin. Branch. Carolina going with that tough man-to-man. Branch will force it up way short. Fothergill hustling after the rebound. Down on the floor. Loose again. Players all over the place. Fothergill still has it, and he is tied up by Hale. They don't want it or anything, do they?
I was just thinking the same thing. You think there's a little intensity out here on the court? Both teams feeling the importance of this basketball game.
Wait. With 11 minutes and 18 seconds to go, first half of play from College Park. Jeff Mullins, you can really tell where we are. When Maryland scores, there's this tremendous roar from about 16,000 people. When they don't, it's dead quiet.
Well, I'll tell you, two very, very talented teams, and when you play on the road, as North Carolina is tonight, that sixth man or the crowd can make a difference, and this one's really fired up.
Coleman is back in at center for Maryland. His forwards are Bias and Fothergill. This is Lenny Bias.
North Carolina in a 2-3 zone, the first time they've showed the zone tonight.
Adrian Branch called for a travel. He tried to dribble between two parts of that zone and stumbled.
Adrian Branch got off to a good start, but that's what he'll try and do, try and force some offense. He had the right idea, trying to get into the seam of the zone, but it didn't work that time.
Tied at 14, Carolina with a chance to take the lead. This is Sam Perkins, and Maryland's in his zone. Matt Doherty lost it out of bounds.
That time Maryland was in their diamond and 2 zone. They had a boxing 2 basically on Jordan and Perkins, and then zoning the other 3 fellas. North Carolina, I don't think, recognized it and threw the ball out of bounds.
Really helps if you can see it from overhead, but if you can't, great pass by Gatlin to Fothergill. Offensive foul on Fothergill. But did you see the pass from Gatlin?
Excellent. Look at Gatlin under control. Great pass across the court. Must have been something with the left elbow. You can see Matt Doherty straight up with the hands. Good defense. Let's see if we can see a little more contact this time. Matt Doherty straight up. Nobody jumped. Contact was initiated by Fothergill.
14-14 with 10:36 to go. That's the 15th foul against Maryland. Carolina has committed only 2.
You know, that's that new rule, a law of verticality. If you stick your hand straight up and the offensive player initiates the contact, it can be an offensive foul.
Matt Doherty to Brad Doherty. Here's a whistle away from the ball. The foul is going to be against Maryland inside, and the Terps bench just exploded in unison up at the officials.
North Carolina really trying to get the ball in down low to M.Jordan. Lefty's a little hot about that call, but Len Bias and Jordan were really battling for position inside. Bias was called for the foul.
Number 1 on Len Bias, the 16th foul. The next one will put Carolina in the bonus. Sam Perkins working on Fothergill at the baseline. Jordan with a follow tip. Michael Jordan, what a shot.
That's where he comes out of nowhere, flying through the air to tip it up. He was just trying to keep it alive, but he tipped it in.
16-14, Carolina. Missed shot. Bias. Thank you, Greg, from ESPN Sports Center, and you can hear the crowd here in College Park protesting a call by the official. North Carolina has just taken the lead over Maryland, 16-14. Number 1 against number 5. This is Mike Patrick along with Jeff Mullins. It's nice to have you with us for ACC basketball. And this is Kenny Smith, the freshman point guard. See Lefty Drizel holding his hands up. That's what he wants his players to do.
Maryland in a 1-2-2 zone. Lefty wants a lot of hands, a lot of activity on the defense.
Smith to Matt Doherty. Carolina very patient. Try the alley-oop to Jordan. They threw it away. Jordan saved it, but he was out of bounds. That's about the fourth bad pass that Carolina has thrown tonight, and they don't do that very often.
They don't, and that's a very dangerous pass. Michael Jordan went to the basket. Doherty thought he was floating to the corner. He just threw it right over his head.
Back into the ballgame for Maryland is Jeff Atkins, and back in for North Carolina, Buzz Peterson, as Jordan will sit down. Dean Smith up, letting his players know what he wants them to do. Branch working against the double team. Maryland handled it well. This is Bias, who already has 8. Now he has 10. Lenny Bias really improved as a shooter.
Excellent outside shooter, and Maryland is doing an excellent job of finding the open man.
We're tied at 16. Ben Coleman with a defensive pressure, and Atkins with the steal. Ball tipped. It's going to go out of bounds out to Maryland. Terrapins trying to run the break that time. There haven't been any cheap baskets in this one so far. They've earned every one they've got.
I got a feeling it's going to be that way the whole game. Every time the ball's going inside, there's double team. As we saw on that end, Atkins stealing the ball from Perkins and starting the fast break.
Cecil Exum, number 50, has checked into the ball game for North Carolina. Exum, a senior from Dudley, North Carolina. And this is Ben Coleman. Double team. Nice move into the lane. Just palmed the ball. Wouldn't go for him, though, and Perkins with a rebound. Have to hold up the break. And this is Kenny Smith. We're tied at 16 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go first half. Peterson has not been able to hit a shot so far tonight. Fothergill with a rebound.
I'll tell you, that's his shot, though, and Coach Dean Smith will say, keep taking it because he knows he can bury it.
And Adrian Branch can shoot from anywhere. Branch scores this time to give Maryland an 18-16 lead, and Adrian Branch has 8 points.
And Maryland continues to find the open man when Carolina double teams. They're getting it to the open shooter, and the open shooter's hitting the shot.
Listen to that crowd. There's the shot, and they're going to call Ben Coleman for the foul. And listen to the crowd on this. Lefty Drizel beside himself. A couple of minutes ago, we had a similar play that went in Carolina's favor. That looked like Coleman stood his ground.
Let's look. Again, this law of verticality. Let's see if Coleman has his hands up. Looked like he had his position established, and Doherty might have stepped in. Let's look at it again. He's coming up, hands straight up. He didn't jump up. He did nudge forward just a little bit. He may have initiated the contact. On the second replay, we got a good look at it.
6'11", 240, a sophomore from Black Mountain, North Carolina, just turned 18 years old in October, and Doherty missed that one. 2 Maryland players go after the rebound, but then it was tipped by North Carolina, tipped out of bounds. 7:42 to go first half. We're tied at 18. North Carolina shooting better from the floor. Turnovers are even. Look at the foul situation, Jeff. That could become important as we go along.
Certainly could be a factor. Surprising both teams with 6 turnovers already in the first half. I'm a little surprised that North Carolina's shooting better. Maryland is doing a good job of hitting the open shot. Here's a long pass to Bias.
Got the basket and drew the foul. Nice pass from Atkins. And one of the few times you can say this, I think they caught North Carolina napping.
We'll see Atkins with his head up, sees Bias down the floor, and you can throw it pretty high because he can go get it. But notice how he gets under control, and then he goes up strong. You like to see your big guys do that. That's a big basket, and he's playing a super game tonight.
Foul was on Popson. That was 10 points. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll be out to Maryland. That was 10 points for Lenny Bias, who's averaging 12 and a half a ball game. But like most of the players on this floor, if he gets a hot night, he could get 25 easily. Branch to Bias, trying to beat that Carolina double team.
Each of these teams has 4 guys in double figures, and any one of those 4 on either team could get 30 points tonight.
Sure could. Carolina in that zone on the out-of-bounds play. Atkins and Branch are the Maryland guards. 10 and 24 respectively. Fothergill 22, Coleman 54, Bias 34 up front for the white-clad Terrapins. Atkins, Popson, nice defense, came over, helped slap it out of bounds. It'll be out to North Carolina. Popson only a freshman. He's from Ashley, Pennsylvania. Boy, is he going to be a good player.
Well, both these teams have a lot of great players on their bench, and some of them might not even get in tonight. But I'll tell you, they're super players.
6:54 on a turning clock from College Park. Maryland by 2. Matt Doherty doesn't shoot much at all anymore. Jordan.
Maryland in a man-to-man defense, trying to put a lot of pressure on the ball. There's where they didn't want it to go. Michael Jordan inside.
Jordan got the roll. Jordan with 8 points, 8 of the Carolina 20, and that's where we're tied at 20. Bias didn't take the shot that time. He will this time. Len Bias with a dozen.
And there's an opening in that Carolina defense along the baseline. Lenny Bias has found it a few times. Adrian Branch has been there also to hit the shot.
Lenny Bias looks like he likes to stand there for the next 30 minutes. He could have 60 points at this rate.
I'll tell you, the thing to watch out when a team's playing pressure defense like North Carolina is when you get a little tired, can you still hit that outside shot?
Kenny Smith with a good long-range jump shot. Seeing excellent team basketball here. Both teams looking for the open man and finding him.
And very patient on offense, playing real hard both ends of the floor defensively.
Branch, who loves to go one-on-one, working on Doherty, who is a very tough man to beat down the lane. Missed the shot. I don't think Lefty Driesell wanted him to take that one. If you can't get down the lane, don't take the perimeter shot. Veal on Jordan, another great matchup. That's Brad Doherty, and he puts Carolina ahead, 24-22.
Brad Doherty, almost 7 feet tall, but he hit it from the free throw line. He's got a soft touch.
Branch. Matt Doherty doesn't go for many fakes.
He's just a basic, solid defender. Here's Coleman inside. He knows he's got the younger Doherty on him, but he makes a nice pass inside to Branch.
Branch will bring it back out and set it up. Remember, we're working with a 45-second clock, which is now at 19. So you've got plenty of time. Coleman got position, missed the shot, but he'll draw the foul against Brad Doherty. That's number 1 on Doherty, and only the 4th team foul against Carolina.
You had the feeling last time Coleman got the ball, he wanted to work on Doherty. This time when he got it, look at that big step to the basket. He went up strong. You can see the contact, but you could tell the senior wanted to take the sophomore inside, and he did it.
There's a glint in those guys' eyes, and you can see it. Herman Veal will come back into the ball game for Mark Fothergill.
And you know, it's interesting to try and take advantage of a mismatch. Coleman thought he had the advantage. He's thinking confidently. It makes sense to try and go to the basket.
Big man is a 70% free throw shooter. He is the number 1 field goal percentage shooter at 63.5 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And he is the 7th rebounder in the conference. What's interesting about that is that his forward teammate Herman Veal is 9th. So they're splitting 15 rebounds between them a ball game.
And then they've got Len Bias at the other forward who can do a job on the boards if he has to also.
We're tied again at 24. May go this way all night long.
Now we're seeing a boxing 1 defense. Len Bias on Michael Jordan Herman Veal now matching up, trying to deny Jordan the basketball.
And watch how Carolina works to try to set screens for Michael Jordan, who has had a good first half. But Herman Veal is one of the best defensive players in the country at denying the basketball.
I'll tell you, that's one way to stop a good scorer if he can't get the ball in his hands.
Brad Doherty missed the shot. Perkins with a rebound. A right-hand hook by Sam Perkins. He has 8.
I'll tell you, those long arms of Sam Perkins, he's always got good position under the basket. He's what you call a finesse rebounder, but he gets the job done.
Coleman helps out on the press, gets the ball to Veal. Herman Veal missed, and here comes Kenny Smith. He loves to run. Boy, can he fall. What a pass to Jordan. But no basket. Now call Michael Jordan for a travel.
Actually, it was a little behind Jordan. Hit him on the hip, and he bobbled the ball as he went up. The official just in the right position. Let's take another look at it. Kenny Smith is head up like a good ball handling guard. He sees his teammate. Now watch this ball. It'll sort of bobble off Jordan's hip. He took that extra step. Dean Smith did not like the call. Here we'll see Bias and Jordan fighting for position. Jordan finally gets the lead. That little extra shuffle step in there. Lenny Wirtz in perfect position to make the call. And we've had a technical foul at the other end on the bench of North Carolina.
And Branch will shoot it. Adrian Branch, 6'8" junior from Largo, makes the technical, and that put Maryland down by 1. It's North Carolina 26, Maryland 25. Back after this. far. You see Bias with the big ball game with 12. Doherty and Jordan 8 apiece for North Carolina.
Only 4 players have scored for Maryland thus far.
Kenny Smith out of the ball game. Steve Hale will play, and Carolina has gone to that 1-3-1 zone.
Both these teams like to change up their defenses. North Carolina prefers their man-to-man when they get in trouble, but they can play an excellent zone defense.
Branch and cross-court pass to Jeff Atkins, a good outside shooter, but he missed that one. Carolina by 1 with the basketball. This is Steve Hale from Jenks, Oklahoma. Matt Doherty to Brad Doherty. Hit that shot earlier, but he missed this one. Perkins, another offensive rebound, but he has it stolen. And Atkins, they say, stepped out of bounds as the ball was tipped to him by Adrian Branch.
Adrian Branch with quick hands inside. Sam Perkins again. Watch this position. Look at Perkins fighting for the good position. He gets the rebound, but it's knocked loose right there. North Maryland saved themselves perhaps an easy basket because Sam Perkins is tough when he gets it down low.
Matt Doherty passes up the shot again to Hale. Fakes Coleman off his feet. Alley-oop inside to Brad Doherty. Laid it in. Nice pass from Matt to Brad Doherty.
That's what makes Matt Doherty so valuable to this North Carolina team. He gets the ball to the right person. That was an excellent pass inside.
6 points for Brad Doherty, and Maryland down by 3. Len Bias way outside. Jordan on him. Trying to penetrate. Gets the ball back. Already has 12. Now he has 14.
Steve Hale came over to help out, but he couldn't do anything with Len Bias in that close to the basket.
Jordan double team, gets the ball back outside to Hale. Len Bias is now trying to keep track of Jordan. Sam Perkins in and out. Brad Doherty with a tip. Matt Doherty with a loose ball. But here comes Adrian Branch rebounding from that weak side forward. Atkins.
That's twice in a row that Branch has saved Maryland the basket. Great pass inside.
Atkins to Coleman. Super feed hit him in the lane. And Maryland on top 29-28. This hasn't been a bad game or anything, has it?
Oh, did you expect anything less? The
No,
number
sir.
1 team in the country against the number 5, and they deserve to be there as they're showing.
Matt Doherty. Nice pass to Perkins. He's fouled before the basket. I think on Coleman. That will be number 1 on Ben Coleman. When he first transferred here from Minnesota, he had a tough time with fouls, always getting in foul trouble. But he's been able to control that ever since the early part of last year. Coleman will come out. And they're saying that is his 2nd personal foul. And with 1:46 to go, I don't think Lefty wants to take a chance on giving him his 3rd.
No, and Lefty has the luxury of having Fothergill, 6'9", a senior. He's played in a lot of pressure games, so he's a great substitute to bring off the bench.
He's a very solid player, excellent rebounder and defensive player. Perkins hits the free throw. He'll get another. Sam Perkins averaging about 17 points a game. Almost certainly will become the 3rd 3-time All-American in North Carolina basketball history. I don't know many people that wouldn't vote him an All-American this year already.
Sam makes things look so easy, but when you watch him on an isolation situation, you see how hard he's working to get position and to do the right things at the right time.
Perkins puts Carolina on top, 30-29. Sam has 8 so far tonight. Got Len Bias, normally a forward, who's playing outside for Maryland and letting Adrian Branch run that baseline. And Bias will shoot now from the top of the circle. He's made him from absolutely everywhere tonight.
Well, he's such a mismatch for the point guard. That time he just went right over the point guard, Kenny Smith. Nothing Smith could do to bother him on the shot.
We've got Len Bias in with 16 points. Matt Doherty dumps it outside to Michael Jordan, and he hits it.
Great ball movement. Again, Matt Doherty giving the final pass, but Carolina moved the ball very well, and then Michael Jordan hit the open jump shot.
32-31. North Carolina by 1. We're at the 1-minute mark of the first half. Atkins. This is Fothergill. Maryland could play for 1 shot unless they get a real good one. And Atkins is saying either calling out play number 1 or saying 1 shot. 40 seconds left, first half. Adrian Branch. Bias.
Only 10 seconds left on the clock. There's a steal, cross-court pass.
Terrible pass from Veal, and then Jordan tried to go in for the snowbird and lost control of the basketball. Beal just floated it across court, and Jordan, ever aware, picked it off. And now Carolina will play for one shot, and here's the four corners. Lefty instructing his team not to go out after them, but they're warned, and now they have to. They're the team that has to create the momentum because they're down by one. Look at Jordan. Little short after the great moves. Beal, three-quarter court shot at the buzzer. In the second half, Kenny Smith, the freshman point guard from Queens, New York. Jordan, the alley-oop to Perkins. What a pass and what a jam.
That's a tough pass, but Sam Perkins was there. Excellent pass from Jordan. He caught it one hand above the rim. Two Maryland defenders there, but they couldn't do anything about it.
Carolina by 3. Perkins in with 8 points. Herman Beal to Adkins.
North Carolina, the start of the second half, really intensifying their defensive pressure. It works.
And Kenny Smith had the ball knocked away by Bias, and I think Ronnie Bias is going to be called for a personal foul. He reached in and got Smith on the arm. Obvious only to one official, Lenny Wirtz, who had the perfect angle on it.
And perhaps the best foul Len Bias could commit tonight because Sam Perkins was ahead. Kenny Smith was about to pass it to him for an easy layup. Here's the alley-oop pass. Sam Perkins, a design play, catches it above the rim and drops it through.
Carolina by 3. Brad Daugherty, short on the jumper, the rebound at Coleman. Adkins to 2-on-4 play. They'll hold up and wait for help. Herman Beal. Bad pass. Beal just tossed it. There wasn't a soul there. This is Matt Daugherty. Missed the shot. Jordan tried the acrobatic follow, and it was too high off the glass.
Maryland needs to settle it down. They've had 2 turnovers in a row, and North Carolina is known for their defense coming out of the locker room the second half. They really come out and put the pressure on, and they've rattled this Maryland team.
Bias to Adkins.
There we'll get a look at the defense from up above. Gives a good look at the floor. Again, the North Carolina defense knocks the ball away. Michael Jordan up the floor.
Look at the move by Jordan. No basket, offensive foul. Jeff Adkins, an excellent player at taking the charge, was waiting right there. This was a close call, Jeff.
Here's Jordan going up the floor. He tries to jump by. There wasn't a whole lot of contact, but the official called offensive foul, the toughest call in basketball. Let's take a look at it from this angle.
And you have to hand it to the officials because they have been rather consistent all night, and that's what you ask from them.
You have to, and in a big game like this, they have to call it close to keep the game under control.
Maryland has gone 2 minutes without scoring here in the second half. They've had 3 straight turnovers. That is 4. The Terps have not had a crack at the basket. Jordan, double pump, short on the shot, saved by Branch. The intensity is there, but neither team scoring much.
Maryland very fortunate to come out of those 4 straight turnovers and only 1 basket behind this second half.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Gatlin in the lineup for Maryland because he runs the offense very well. And the Terps have not had a shot at the basket in 2.5 minutes. There is Branch, put it up, and he's fouled. And the foul is going to be on Michael Jordan. That will be 3 on Michael Jordan.
Nice pass inside by Atkins that time. I don't know whether it was by design, but that's what you need to do. Get the ball inside. You can see the contact, Michael Jordan. But when you can't get a basket, you can't make anything work. Take it into that basket where things happen.
Adrian Branch will go to the line. Branch now with 8 points on the night. 2 out of 2 from the free throw line. 34-32.
Adrian Branch only averaging a little over 11 points a game this year, but he's really sacrificed for the balance on this team this year.
Exactly. It's not that Branch is shooting worse. It's just that Maryland has so many more weapons now. 34-33, Carolina by 1. 17:23 to go in this ballgame.
And Michael Jordan has picked up his third foul.
Bad pass, Kenny Smith. The freshman point guard tossed it out of bounds.
Kenny Smith doing what point guards should do, trying to penetrate that defense. He saw Sam Perkins open. Sam wasn't ready for the pass. It went out of bounds.
Maryland with a chance to take the lead. And Carolina, with their tough defense here at the start of the second half, has taken the crowd out of this one pretty much. There's Branch, double team. Bad pass, terrible pass from Adrian Branch to Jordan. Jordan missed the shot. Kenny Smith follows and scores. And there was contact underneath as Jordan and Herman Veal both hit the basket support. And Dean Smith was livid that there was no call. Carolina by 3, 36-33.
North Carolina in the 1-3-1, but they're still putting a lot of hands and trapping in the corners as they did that time.
Adrian Branch inside. Maryland's second basket in 7 possessions. Jeff, the other 5 were turnovers, and you can't win that way.
They're not handling the pressure very well, but Ben Coleman that time, he's big enough to see over the pressure and made an excellent pass inside to Adrian Branch.
36-35, Carolina by 1. Perkins. Maryland in his zone. Alley-oop, and Perkins jammed it on the pass from Kenny Smith. Second time this half that Sam Perkins has sneaked in there and ripped one.
North Carolina has definitely been the more aggressive team at the start of this second half, both offensively and defensively.
Perkins with 12 points tonight, and Carolina leads by 3. Coleman helping against the pressure. Double team knocked away by Kenny Smith, saved by Adkins. Adkins, who likes to penetrate, gets it back to Branch in the lane, and Adrian Branch will score.
Jeff Adkins has done a nice job of passing to his teammates, particularly inside the lane area.
13 for Branch. Doherty goes low ball, kicked out of bounds, out to North Carolina. North Carolina 38, Maryland 37, the first of a home-and-home series. Let's take a look at Sam Perkins doing his thing again, Jeff.
Here's Sam, the high lob pass. He's all alone underneath, and I'm sure at that timeout, Lefty Drizel said, hey guys, I can see it happening once in a half, but not twice in 4 minutes. That should not happen more than once in a game.
Of course, it's the kind of play you like to make against that 2-3 zone, and look at the shooting percentage.
Both teams statistically have been dominant all year, and I would say that Maryland definitely needed that timeout. They were a little shaky defensively as well as offensively. Let's see if the timeout will help them recover.
Right now it looks like they're back in that triangle and 2 defense, and Lefty Drizel likes to go against Maryland. And here's Adrian Branch, blocked by Jordan. Adkins thought there was going to be defensive pressure and missed it. Here's a bad pass intercepted by Adkins. Both teams a little tight. Adkins to Branch for the jam.
All of a sudden it's racehorse basketball. Branch gave everything he had to Michael Jordan, but he still stuffed it, but he got another chance and made sure the second time.
15 for Adrian Branch. Listen to this crowd, and oh, what a jam by Brad Doherty, and fouled by Lenny Bias. And these guys are putting on a show.
And you can see that Maryland is still confused defensively. Doherty was all alone by himself on the other side of the basket. Bias came over, but too late. And the sophomore Doherty, only 18 years old, went up with a lot of authority that time.
10 points for Doherty, the third foul on Lenny Bias. Young man misses the rebound to Branch. It's 40-39, North Carolina. They will play again in Chapel Hill. And a lot of people expect them to end up in the final of the ACC tournament. Who knows, they might meet again in the NCAA. If you get to see these guys play each other 4 times in a year, you get to see a lot of good basketball. Herman Veal. Coleman, offensive rebound, lost it. It's Lenny Bias with a power move. And Maryland wants goaltending, and they will get it. Blocked by Perkins.
Lefty Drizel gives a hand, a lot of effort inside. Here's Len Bias. He takes the ball, goes one step, up strong. Sam Perkins, good call. Lenny Wirtz was at half court, but he made the call. 2 points for Maryland.
18 points for Lenny Bias, and he has his team back on top, 41-40. Michael Jordan, got away with a travel there as he stumbled a little bit. Doherty to Wolf, who's back in the ballgame, to Kenny Smith, free for the jumper. Herman Beal with a rebound, and the Maryland crowd urging their team on. Adrian Branch, big shot.
Oh, he's a cool customer. That time he was under pressure, but he still hit the open jump shot. A big basket for Maryland. They've got a 3-point lead.
Adrian Branch with 17. He and Bias have really carried the ball club. And here come the Terps again. Coleman leading the fast break. Ben Coleman would like to have that shot back, I think. And here comes Carolina's Perkins. Oh, is this college basketball or what?
And neither one of these teams are going to quit. They keep coming at you with all guns blasting. North Carolina, good defensive at the other end. They had a 4-on-1 break that time. They got it to the right guy, Sam Perkins.
14 for Sam Perkins. Lenny Bias. Adrian Branch trying to penetrate. Got the shot again.
You can't afford to let him get his rhythm, and he certainly got it going now.
19 points for Adrian Branch, and it's Maryland by 3. 45-42. 13:01 to go in the ballgame.
Maryland's now in a boxing one defense. They've got Herman Beal again all over Michael Jordan. The other 4 men playing a zone, and there's Matt Doherty wide open.
Left all alone, missed the shot. Michael Jordan with the follow. He's short. Perkins tipped it in. What a ball game for Sam Perkins. Oh, what a ball game for everybody. Perkins and Jordan for North Carolina. Bias and Adrian Branch for Maryland. 4 superstars really doing a job.
Absolutely, and Sam Perkins continues to amaze me. He gets to the open spot on the offensive boards, and there's Len Bias at the other end.
Answer for answer. Lenny Bias with 20 points. And it's 47-44, Maryland by 3. Holy cow, what a ball game. Lefty wants his players to get their hands up in that zone. And he also wants to get the crowd into it. Alley-oop, Coleman. Almost, as a matter of fact, he did save it. Ben Coleman got in the way of the pass from Perkins, and I think tipped it enough so Sam couldn't put it through.
Yes, he did. Carolina almost did it 3 times in 1 half, but Ben Coleman was alert to it. Watch him come out of nowhere and get a hand on it. Sam still had a good opportunity. It just wouldn't fall.
Tipped out of bounds. It'll be out to Carolina. Matt Doherty to Buzz Peterson, who's in, and there's Kenny Smith.
Michael Jordan on the bench. Buzz Peterson has come in to give him a blow.
Matt Doherty. Now the real weapon in there is Perkins. And he's trying to get into the middle of that zone. Kenny Smith. Shot clock is down to 22. Matt Doherty could not make the shot, but he drew the foul from Adrian Branch.
Adrian Branch tried to come over from behind to make the block, but you'll see the contact. Matt Doherty knows with Michael Jordan out of the game, he has to help make something happen. He went right into the seam of the defense. Little touch but not foul, but it did bother his concentration, and Doherty will go to the line for 2.
Matt Doherty, an 80% free throw shooter, will make his first trip. Lefty Drizel, who beat Carolina badly here last year, trying to do it again, and Matt Doherty, a very cool customer, knocks it down.
How many times in his 4-year career has he been to the line in pressure situations? He's a cool customer also.
And how many times has he done just that? Made them both when it really counted.
ESPN.
Jeff Mullins, if all college basketball games were this exciting, I don't think we could survive the season.
Well, as we started this game, we knew it was going to be a barn burner, and of course it's lived up to every expectation. Both teams doing an excellent job defensively. Both teams playing very well offensively. Looking at the field goal shooting in the second half, North Carolina's gotten up more shots, only hit 40%.
Terps hitting 63% in the second half, and now here is more pressure. The scoring leaders, Bias with 20, Branch with 19, as Adkins is in trouble and then gets rid of it. Lenny Bias finally missed a shot, and the rebound.
I believe that's the first open shot I've seen him miss the whole game.
I think it is. Buzz Peterson rimmed it, tipped out of bounds by Maryland, out to Carolina, and that brings the crowd back on its feet. For North Carolina, Perkins has 16, Jordan has 12. And those 4 leading point scorers have played great games. Hale and Jordan come back into the ball game for North Carolina. Peterson will go out. Who else checks out? Matt Doherty.
One of the rare times in a big game that you'll see Sam Perkins and Michael Jordan on the bench together, but Dean Smith didn't take him out for very long, and Michael Jordan is back in the game.
Has a big freshman in there, number 24, Joe Wolf, out of Kohler, Wisconsin. He's 6'10", 215 pounds, and he'll work up front with Brad Doherty. This is Steve Hale. Pressure shot from Hale.
That was just like a free throw, and he hits almost 94% of his free throws. He can bury that jumper.
Carolina by 1. Adkins to Bias. Maryland has gone with this iron 5 the entire second half.
North Carolina in the 1-3-1 zone, but look at the hands they've got on defense. They really make you lob the passes across court.
Coleman double teamed at the baseline. Ben Coleman missed the shot. Here's the power rebound by Veal, but he is fouled inside. Let's see who gets it.
Michael Jordan blocked the ball up top, but Doherty was called for the foul, fortunately for North Carolina. Here we'll see Coleman. He knew he had his man inside. Wolf, the freshman, he was going to go up strong, but watch this rebound.
Jordan in danger of getting his 4th foul right there. Instead, it was picked up by Brad Doherty, who got his 2nd.
I'm sure the North Carolina bench gave a sigh of relief when they saw Doherty's name go up rather than Michael Jordan.
Herman Veal, his first trip to the free throw line, only a 63% shooter.
Got the ball.
Line drive, that one up a little bit and went right through. However you do it, if they go in. Mark Fothergill comes into the ballgame. Ben Coleman will get a breather. And Gatlin is back in for Atkins. Number 3 is Keith Gatlin, the freshman point guard. Unusual for the player of the year in North Carolina to get out of Carolina and end up in Maryland.
That's true. And, of course, Lefty not going as deep on his bench as Dean Smith, but both coaches trying to keep their players fresh because the pace of this game is perhaps a little faster than both coaches would have expected.
Veal missed the second. We're tied at 48, but not for long as Kenny Smith, the freshman from Queens, New York, comes right down to give Carolina its 49th and 50th points. North Carolina by 2. Gatlin and Adrian Branch. This is Veal. Lenny Bias, who's had such a big ball game. Double clutch, and he made it.
2 of the finest athletes in the country. Michael Jordan and Bias going up side by side. Bias just out-hung him.
Hale. Shot no good. I think the foul is going to be on Lenny Bias trying to get the follow rebound. Lenny Bias with 22 points, and what a show he is putting on.
Here's the rebound attempt. Michael Jordan, look at the inside position, and when he gets it, he gets the rebounds he should. You can see the foul over the back.
Tied at 50. Foul on Bias was his 4th. He is still in the ballgame.
Maryland in a man-to-man defense.
Hale trying to penetrate. Jordan, nice fake to get by Branch. Now has to double pump it. Missed the shot. Kept alive. Perkins. Give some credit in there to Brad Doherty, the sophomore who kept that ball alive. And 18 points for Sam Perkins. There you see it. Bias with 4. Ball's kicked out of bounds. And Coleman comes in. Bias will have to sit down with 4 personal fouls. And right now you're taking 22 points of offense, a hot hand, and a lot of confidence out of the ball.
Well, that's the key thing. He's got the hot hand. He feels good offensively. And with the open shots they're getting against the pressure defense, it's tough to take a guy like Bias out of the game, but you got to do it.
Gatlin gets it to Veal. Back to Gatlin, to Fothergill. Gatlin runs an offense so well. Branch has to drop it off, and Herman Veal makes the big shot.
I'll tell you, Maryland has done a better job of moving the basketball since the freshman Gatlin has been in there. The object is to pass the ball before the double team, and he does a good job at that.
He really seems to be able to execute. All of his passes seem to be exactly where the player needs to get it, when he needs to get it. And that is a tremendous talent. Kenny Smith, nice pass to Perkins. Perkins backs in against Fothergill. Crowd wanted an offensive foul. Coleman to Adrian Branch. Branch trying to go one-on-one, now one-on-two. Coleman with a follow and he missed. A lot of contact, no whistle. Herman Veal takes a slap at it.
That's twice that Adrian Branch has challenged Michael Jordan. He didn't win either time.
Now Jordan misses. Perkins followed Coleman. Fouled him and Perkins put it in. And the game is getting very, very rough underneath.
And I'll tell you a trend that Maryland would not like. North Carolina getting a lot of second shots on their offensive boards. Michael Jordan shots, goes to the other side. Perkins with an excellent position again. What a great hang and soft touch off the glass. North Carolina's getting too many second shots. Maryland should be concerned.
20 points for Perkins. Jeff Atkins comes into the ballgame. Adrian Branch will go out. So now on the Maryland bench, Branch and Bias, 41 points of the Maryland 52 so far tonight. Lefty Grizzell not happy that Adrian Branch took that last play all the way to the hoop, playing in effect 1-on-2 against North Carolina.
Yeah, they needed a little more patience. When you got a seesaw game like this, you can't afford to shoot bad shots. That was not good shot selection.
Adkins will now play the second guard, and Gatlin will be the point guard. This is Fothergill. Good pass to Herman Veal. Won't go. Coleman, big rebound, knocked away. Picked up by Brad Daugherty. Out to Hale. Carolina likes to push it up. Hale dishes it off to Perkins. Missed the shot. Coleman with a rebound. Loose ball. Coleman got it backwards. Really whacked on the chest. And the crowd is incensed, and so is Lefty Grizzell, if there was no call on that one.
And look at the poise of Gatlin that time. He had the semi-fast break. He pulled it back out and set the team up.
This young man is going to set a lot of assist records before he's through. Atkins drives to the baseline, trying to draw the foul. Can't get it.
It's interesting. Atkins has moved over to the shooting guard position, and he can fill it very well. And Mark Fothergill has a good soft touch from the outside.
Fothergill doesn't shoot that much. He's an awful lot like Matt Daugherty. But when he shoots, most of the time he's going to make it. This thing has swung back and forth since the opening second. Carolina by 1, 54-55. Michael Jordan looks to Dean Smith for instruction.
Trying to get a handle of Maryland's defense. Matt Daugherty gets into the seam of it. I think they were confused defensively. Everybody seemed to be standing around. Matt Daugherty took advantage of it.
Carolina by 3. We are down to 6 minutes, 52 seconds, and counting from College Park. Number 1 against number 5. Fothergill fakes. With this lineup out there, Atkins is going to have to shoot from the outside. He constitutes a lot of their firepower right now.
He's a very capable shooting guard, and he can fill it up.
First shot from outside by Atkins, and boy, can't he ever.
I think he must have heard us talking over here.
57-56, Carolina by 1. The shot clock, which is 45 seconds, will go off at the 4-minute mark. We'll still have it for at least 2 more possessions. Hale running the offense.
Maryland now in a man-to-man. Herman Veal trying to overplay Michael Jordan, but he looks tired. Jordan got the ball very easily that time.
Jordan beat him to the baseline, tries to reverse layup, and he's fouled. Good point, Jeff, because he went by Herman Veal.
I'll tell you, I've been there before, and you try dogging a great offensive player for a long period of time. Watch Michael Jordan just blow by him here. He's got the baseline, and then his great leaping ability. It's tough to stop him in there.
Maryland has Lenny Bias on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Gatlin comes out, and Adrian Branch now comes back in.
And, of course, Len Bias had been doing part of the job on Michael Jordan, and now with his 4th fouls, Herman Veal's having to take the whole chore, and it is a yeoman's job.
Now they're going to put Len Bias back in the ballgame. Michael Jordan with a dozen so far. He is 2 for 4 from the free throw line, and these are big ones. Hit that one, 58-56. Len Bias comes back in. Mark Fothergill goes out for Maryland. Bias 22 points so far. A brilliant shooting night. And the Terps will need him down the stretch. The margin is 2. Jordan trying to make it 3. Missed it. The tip is up there. Wolf keeping it alive. Coleman knocks it outside. Michael Jordan comes down with it. What a great athletic move by Michael Jordan.
The freshman Wolf kept it alive twice, and finally Michael Jordan got a handle on it.
You don't see this very much on a Dean Smith team. You've got a freshman forward up there who has not played a lot of minutes, who is playing in a clutch situation right now. Jordan, another great move, missed the shot, but he followed. And North Carolina is really doing the job against Maryland on the boards, where Maryland has traditionally been so strong.
And let's talk about that great play. There's Michael Jordan. He hit the ground a little off balance, but yet he was the first one back up to take a controlled tip and put it back in.
Len Bias fakes the shot, gets it to Herman Veal. His jumper won't go. Jordan with a rebound. 5:20 to go. And North Carolina leads by 4. Another minute 15. The shot clock will go off, and you can bet if Dean Smith is up by 4, you will see the slowdown. This is a big possession here. Jordan to Hale. Looking low for Doherty, and they've got him against Coleman. Baseline cut off. Shot clock at 20. The game clock at 4:55.
North Carolina's going to be very patient here, trying to get an excellent shot because this is a big basket and a big possession.
That's Wolf. Shot clock is at 8. Jordan had to force one, and he got it over. Great defense by Vail. What a play by Michael Jordan. He has 17 points, and the margin now, Jeff, 6 points.
And Michael Jordan has gotten the last 6 points. 2 on baskets and 2 free throws.
Bias, a long-range jump shot. This one won't go. Jordan with another rebound, and Carolina now, with no shot clock, look for them to spread it out. Hale runs right into Adkins. Not a smart play by Steve Hale. I don't think he even saw Jeff. He was looking to the other direction and banged into Adkins, the offensive foul. Timeout with 4:17 to go in the ball game.
Both halves. Maryland doing a little bit better job, surprisingly, but down the stretch, Michael Jordan has shot very well for North Carolina, and Maryland has not been able to put the ball in the basket. They need a basket here. They're going to have possession of the ball, down 6.
North Carolina sends out Hale, Kenny Smith, Matt Doherty, Brad Doherty, and Sam Perkins. For Maryland, it's Adkins, Branch, Fothergill, Veal, and Bias. Ben Coleman has not had the kind of a game tonight that he usually has against Sam Perkins and Doherty.
Well, it's interesting down this stretch. Maryland hasn't seemed to have been able to get the ball to Branch or Bias or Coleman. On the other hand, North Carolina has got it to Michael Jordan where they needed to.
There was Branch, who was cut off at the baseline, bounced it off a North Carolina player's foot. And Maryland will have the ball with 4:01 left. Branch in the double team. Not a good pass, stolen by Hale.
How many times have we seen him get trapped in the corner? Every time the ball goes to the corner, North Carolina will double team. Adrian Branch couldn't get rid of the basketball.
Carolina not really in the true 4 corners yet. They're still trying to score, but it won't be long. Kenny Smith, we're down to 3:37. Matt Doherty with the ball, now to Smith. Get it low to Brad Doherty. His turnaround jumper won't go. Carolina just keeping the ball alive constantly on the boards. Here come the Terps.
Little strategy there. I'm sure Maryland probably expected North Carolina to take the air out of the ball, but they were looking to score. They went into Doherty. He couldn't get the shot to drop.
Maryland down by 6. They desperately need a basket here. Herman Veal, not really the guy they want to shoot that shot. Veal with the rebound, had it partially blocked. Still alive. That's Len Bias, and he is fouled by Perkins. Len Bias with a great game for the University of Maryland. He has really kept them in it.
He's hustled offensively and defensively. He seems to recognize the importance of this possession. Maryland a little shaky offensively. Veal, watch Doherty. He does a good job defensively twice. You'll see Veal get the ball back. This time he deflects the ball, but there's Bias to keep it alive.
Len Bias at the free throw line. 0 for 1 tonight. Again, he is only a 68% free throw shooter, but these are big ones, and he makes the first clutch shot. It's now Carolina by 5, 62-57, 3:05 to go. Do we see the 4 corners this trip down?
Possibly we could, but Michael Jordan, I believe, no, he's back in the game now.
Well, we'll find out when we come back because there's a timeout on the court with 3:05 left in the game. It's North Carolina 62, Maryland 58.
3 minutes and 5 seconds left. That's a lot of time, and when you got 2 great basketball teams on the court, anything can happen. Maryland, I look to intensify their pressure, probably stay more with a man-to-man, and it'll be interesting to see how Coach Dean Smith attacks the Maryland defense.
Michael Jordan has had the kind of a ball game tonight fans across the country who followed ACC basketball came to expect of him as a sophomore. He has had 17 points and just been a tremendous player. Doherty against the pressure, ahead to Smith. Here is the 3-on-2 advantage. Smith right side, and Jordan kicked the ball out of bounds. That is a big turnover. Maryland down by 4 will get possession.
Kenny Smith doing the smart thing. He had a 3-on-2 and he attacked it. Michael Jordan couldn't handle the pass. Maryland basketball.
Lefty Grizzell wanted to get Mark Fothergill into the ballgame in the dead ball situation, but he couldn't do it in time. Maryland needs a bucket here, down by 4. Adkins to Veal. They'd want Branch or Bias to shoot it. Now this is Bias with the ball, or Adkins. Coleman has not done much in the middle tonight.
Of course, if they could get it inside to Coleman, they wouldn't mind that too.
No, they wouldn't. Branch double pump, has to get rid of it, threw it to Herman Veal, and he made it. Adrian Branch got lucky that time because he was caught in the air and just threw it somewhere toward the middle. The Terrapins were fortunate that Herman Veal got a hand on it.
Good control by Herman Veal inside. Doherty was there to try and block it. He had to float it over the outstretched hands, and it bounced around and went in. 5
points for Herman Veal on the biggest basket he has had all night. And Sam Perkins now getting attention from the North Carolina bench. He pulled up there right after that play, and Sam was not feeling real well.
You know, you could almost sense when North Carolina went up by 6, there was going to be a lot of basketball left anytime you got two great teams like this.
And Perkins coming out of the ball game, and Dean Smith will go to his bench for freshman Joe Wolf. How many times can you remember, with Joe Wolf and Kenny Smith in the ball game, how many times can you remember North Carolina in the clutch having two freshmen on the court at the same time?
Well, and of course, Brad Doherty is only a sophomore, so they have a very young team on the floor. Of course, they're all well coached. But again, this is the pressure part of the basketball game. Let's see what happens.
Kenny Smith, let's see, fouled. Adrian Branch reached in and took a whack at it. 2:16 left to go in the ball game. Number 1 ranked North Carolina leading number 5 ranked Maryland by 2. And now Perkins comes back into the ball game, and Wolf goes out. Perkins had to go out, or Dean Smith would have had to use a timeout because the officials stopped play because of his injury.
Sam Perkins has been playing the whole game with a heavily bandaged right hand. It has to affect his shooting a little bit, but he's certainly done a super job.
Kenny Smith, who has not shot a free throw tonight, but is an 83.3% shooter, puts down the first one to give Carolina a 3-point lead. It's amazing when you see a freshman who comes through with the big play. Missed that one, however. A big shot. 63-60, 2:12 left in the ball game. Adkins to Coleman, who was loose for a second, goes up against Doherty and made it. The margin is now 1. What a ball game.
Nice inside pass from Atkins, and Coleman knew what to do with it. He went straight to the hoop.
Matt Doherty, here's the pass to Perkins, and it was blocked. Fortunately, it did not go in for the Terps. Let's see who picks up the foul. Probably Coleman. And if there was ever a good foul, that was it.
This can happen so often when you're pressuring so much. Look at the pass. Doherty looked off, hit Perkins. Coleman did the only thing he could. He fouled hard enough to make Perkins miss. He says, let's see you earn it at the free throw line, Sam.
Sam Perkins, 3 out of 3, but that was the 4th foul on Coleman. He and Bias now have 4. The margin is 1. Carolina on top. And Perkins hits that one. Perkins, 73% on the year. He has 22 points tonight.
And this is when you like to see a senior on the free throw line, particularly a senior like Sam Perkins, who's been there so many times before.
64-62. Carolina by a pair with 1:54 to go in the ball game. Got that one. Nice touch by Sam Perkins. Maryland down by 3, and once again, the Terps need a bucket to get it close. Adrian Branch to Bias. Those two have carried the load tonight.
North Carolina in the zone. They're going to try and make Maryland shoot over top. Shoot it from the outside and not get it inside.
Bias. Nice spinning move to get 3 in the lane, but the shot wouldn't go, and Jordan with a rebound.
Nice move by Bias. He got into the seam of the zone. Kind of a tough shot, but it wouldn't drop.
And now Carolina goes to the 4 corners with 1:21 to go, and Maryland is going to have to foul. There's no doubt about it, they're down by 3. How long can you wait, Jeff?
Well, of course, there's plenty of time left. Over a minute to go. They're going to try and play good aggressive defense before they have to foul.
Perkins with a follow shot. Perkins again, and he made it, and he's fouled. Well, that one might do it. That might have been the straw that broke the camel's back right there. 25 points for Sam Perkins, and I don't know how many rebounds he's had tonight.
Michael Jordan made a commitment to the basket, had to lay it up with the left hand, but look at Perkins stay after the basketball, and then he makes a nice soft shot. And if I had to key the second half of this game, Mike, it's the offensive boards for North Carolina. An area where they thought before the game they might get beat, but they've actually won the battle.
They have dominated the boards. Perkins, 5 for 5 free throw line, makes it a 3-point play. It's now 68-62 with a minute left, and Maryland facing a tough uphill battle here. Branch goes baseline. He is fouled by Sam Perkins. That's one thing Dean Smith didn't want to see to stop that clock.
Well, remember, it's only the 16th foul, so Maryland's going to have to take it out of bounds. But if you're North Carolina, you do not want to foul quickly. You want to let Maryland eat some clock up before they can get a shot off. It's important here for Maryland to stay under control. They need a basket, but they also need to take a good shot.
Adrian Branch from long range, in and out, offensive rebound. Herman Veal, shot won't go, rebound to Coleman. And Coleman fouled by Brad Daugherty on the rebound. Or someone was fouled by Brad Daugherty on the rebound. So that was the 7th team foul. Now we're in the bonus.
Maryland did a good job that time of keeping the ball alive. Adrian Branch went to the free throw line, but I think he knew that his teammate Coleman was the guy that should be there, and Lenny Wirtz caught it.
Coleman 2 for 2 tonight. Not a bad free throw shooter at all, 70.7%. But these are clutch shots. Maryland down by 6 with 46 seconds left. Missed it. Tipped by Lenny Bias, who kept it alive. The rebound to Herman Veal. This is Adkins. Out of bounds to North Carolina. And Dean Smith, I think, can breathe a sigh of relief right now with 40 seconds left. And Dean Smith calls a timeout and wants to tell his team what he wants them to do in the last 40 seconds of this ball game. And Lefty Driesell may not be able to do anything but look on. (68-62) North Carolina by 6 over Maryland with 40 seconds left, and Lefty Driesell looking at the Cole Fieldhouse scoreboard with about 16,000 fans, most of them Maryland's, on hand tonight, and seeing his team down by 6 with only 40 seconds left. Really a desperate looking expression on his face there. Didn't have much of a chance. Maryland having to foul. Herman Veal goes after Daugherty. Commits the personal.
That's the kind of foul you want to commit, trying to go for the basketball. Veal reached in, tried to slap it away. Daugherty was protecting the ball well, and Matt Daugherty will go to the line. And again, a senior who's been there in many pressure situations. It's kind of tough to see somebody like that go to the line if you're a Maryland fan.
He has hit his only 2 trips, but we pointed out earlier, Jeff, that Carolina as a team shoots almost 80% from the free throw line. But the miss by Matt Daugherty, and then Michael Jordan took it from Lenny Bias. What a play by Michael Jordan. Foul is going to be on Adkins. That's a couple times tonight that Maryland has seemingly had a break, and Michael Jordan plucked it from him.
Well, and he comes out of nowhere. That great quickness, he'll blindside. That time he just came from behind Bias. He never saw him and just swiped the ball away.
He and Ben Coleman looking at each other, standing in the lane, and both smiling. I think they both realize what has happened here tonight. Just another in a series of absolutely great matchups between these two teams. And they blew the whistle against 3 players. They said they were in the lane early, I believe. Let's see if they'll make them shoot it over. Or they say this shot was good because it was Maryland in the lane, and that's what they do say. Maryland in first, so the shot counted. Now some folks throwing cups around the stands. Daugherty missed a big one last time down, but he won't miss that one. 69, make it 70 to 62 the margin, 8 with 30 seconds left.
Maryland can't afford to waste much time. Herman Veal trying to rush, kicked the ball out of bounds.
Maryland bench up saying it was touched by North Carolina, but I think it's academic at this point with 22 seconds left. Jordan and Kenny Smith. Jordan pulls up. Smith to Daugherty. Gets it to Jordan. This is all they're trying to do is keep the ball moving, and Adkins reaches in and took a whack at Jordan, the only thing he could do with 10 seconds left. And now the faithful start to stream for the exits. a sellout plus tonight at College Park, and I know the Maryland fans are going to go home disappointed, Jeff, but this is quite a ball club.
Oh, both teams are great. North Carolina deserving of their #1 rating, and of course Maryland showed that they deserve to be in the top 10, and of course these teams will meet again. And you know, it boiled down to the last 6 minutes of the game. I think North Carolina did the job a little bit better offensively and defensively in the last 5 to 6 minutes.
North Carolina falling back, and you see Jordan, 18 points, 8 rebounds, all around incredible floor game. Now 19 for Jordan, and it's 72-62. 10 seconds left. Len Bias had the shot blocked by Sam Perkins. I guess that is a pretty fitting end to the ball game. Jordan, look at that! Holy cow!
Michael Jordan took a look at the clock, said 2 seconds left. I'm going to give him something to rave about.
Absolutely unbelievable move by Michael Jordan.
You think we might have seen a highlight film move there? I believe that'll be in somebody's highlight film coming up real soon.